SNK, the legendary gaming company and one of the pillars of the fighting game genre, and Code Mystics, the magicians of fighting game ports, have come together once again to bring back another fighting game classic from SNK's large library of games, this time being the revered Fatal Fury title, Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, The Newcomers. That's right, today I'm going to be giving you all my first impressions and review of the latest collaboration between these two groups. Special thanks to SNK for reaching out and giving me this opportunity. Timestamps of course will be included for your convenience. Now without further ado, let's see what exactly this dream team did for SNK's Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, The Newcomers. Before we get into what's new in this re-release of Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, let's take a look back at the original and get an idea of the past. SNK's Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, The Newcomers, released in arcades on the Neo Geo MVS and SNK's home consoles, the Neo Geo and the Neo Geo CD in 1998. In terms of installments, it's the 5th mainline title in the Fatal Fury series and the 3rd in the Real Bout series. The Real Bout series is a sort of soft reboot / retelling of the Fatal Fury story. The roster includes Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, Joe Higashi, Mai Shiranui, Blue Mary, Kim Cap-1, Duck King, Han Fu, Chang Senzan, Tong Furu, Ryuji Yamazaki, Sokaku Mochizuki, Jin Chonshu, Jin Chonrei, Bob Wilson, and of course Franco Bash. There are also the mid-bosses playable such as Billy Kane and Lawrence Blood, and finally we have our main boss characters Geese Howard and Wolfgang Krauser, who are also playable characters. But that's not all. Like the name suggests, there are newcomers to the roster in this series, those being Rick Stroud, the Native American boxer, and Ling Jingfei, practitioner of Chinese martial arts and the most famous forehead in SNK history. And also, there's a secret character, a hidden boss named Alfred, who is also playable. To select him at the character select, just press the left bumper. With that out of the way, let's get into what's new for this port. As for what's new with this release of the game, if you're familiar with Code Mystics' work, you already have a good idea of what's to be expected from them, given their recent ports with SNK. Most recently, SNK vs Capcom Chaos. But if you aren't familiar with Code Mystics, then allow me to catch you up with what they've done with this newest port in their resume with SNK. Up first, let's talk about online. This new release not only has online, but Real Bout Fatal Fury 2 has been retrofitted with rollback netcode. That's right, rollback netcode has been added to this title with features such as creating a match and waiting in practice mode, or while you wait for a match, you can play in single player mode. You have your typical settings when it comes to lobbies, timer settings, choosing a number of rounds between 2 and 3, public or private lobbies, as well as setting whether or not hidden boss characters are allowed to be played. Lobby sizes ranges from 2 players to 9, and not only that, like their previous port, SNK vs Capcom Chaos, you can set the lobby type as well, choosing between 4 options: normal, single elimination, double elimination, and round robin. These lobby settings are great for having a large group of people playing, as well as being helpful for anyone hosting tournaments or exhibitions. Continuing with the talk of online, there's also the playback option, allowing you to replay the last 9 online matches you played. Keep in mind though, replay data will be lost if the game is restarted. For local play or offline play, you have single player, meaning you have your classic arcade mode, selecting out of this huge roster of characters and facing against the roster of the rest of the characters. Then you have 2-player offline mode as well, of course, to play against your friends, family, or whoever. Finally, for offline, we have practice mode, and there's some good stuff in this one. After selecting your character, you're greeted with the menu, and from here you can see you have a varying array of options. Settings to set the actions of opposing character, so either recording actions, setting them to do hops, block, lane shift, crouch, or even have player 2 control them. And not to mention, with the recording setting, you also have the ability to select the move from their move list for the CPU to perform. Something that even I wasn't expecting to be in this, honestly. There's also options for speed changes from 100 to 50 to 25% speed, allowing you to obviously slow down the game, as well as options for showing inputs and hitboxes, which is something that is always welcome with these ports. So for you lab monsters out there, enjoy. My only nitpick with the practice mode is there's no button, to my knowledge at least, for resetting, as you would in most modern games when you hit the select button to reposition your characters. I believe the only way to do this is when you make changes and you hit default, it resets the game. But I could be wrong, and hopefully down the line, Code Mystics will make an update to allow us to do such a thing. You have your skill list for your characters along with the help button that act as a sort of legend that explains the different inputs and what they mean, so that's always helpful for new folks and folks that just don't remember the controls. Moving on, we have the typical options, game options for timer, difficulty level, how to play, rounds, etc. Then system settings for setting input delay, language settings, being able to toggle names during online play, which is great for folks that stream, and also having the option to show input delay when spectating, playing, on in general, or just off completely. Sound options is the typical, but there is a jukebox mode option allowing you to choose between character themes or set them to shuffle, and there's quite a bit also, so that's pretty dope. And the music in this game is one of the best I've heard in SNK games in a while, so do yourself a favor and check out the soundtrack. Video, you have the option to adjust the scan lines from 0 to 50 to 100%. Then you have smooth image option that smooth out pixels. Personally, I don't like it smooth, looks very blurry, but to each their own. And from there is the usual options, as well as the frame art options that have 4 different options for art on the sides, and another option for you to stretch the gameplay completely to your screen. FYI, you can also adjust these settings while in practice mode, so you don't have to worry about having to go all the way back to the main menu to make these changes. The game allows for both pad play, keyboard, and even leverless. I tested out myself on my own leverless, and the game felt great on both pad and leverless. So if you're looking to configure your controls, there's settings for that as well. You have leaderboards showing your score for single arcade player mode, a category for wins of each individual character you play online, as well as a total wins letting you see your ranking among the most combined wins for any character in online multiplayer. Lastly, I want to just talk about the overall presentation of the game and the art. When you start the game, you're greeted with the opening cutscene, and afterwards you have the main menu. Now this is nice because you have the Real Bout 2 art of Terry on the right with a blurry rainy city background on the left for your main menu. Definitely clean, and I mess with this a lot. But that's not the end of it. You go to the gallery and are greeted by some of SNK's best art from their company in years. Cycling through, you see different key arts ranging from originals to adjusted to even both Japanese original and reprint versions to English versions included as well. Continuing on, you have character portraits for all of their roster. If I'm not mistaken, the people that were accredited for the art in this game is Eisuke Ogura, Nobuyuki Kotoki, and Ashizawa. Best part of all of these images you can set as your avatar. Yes, every image here as you scroll through are available to set as your avatar, and man, this is some good art. I'm a sucker for art, especially in fighting games, and when it comes to SNK, they don't disappoint. With everything I've explained and laid out from the lobby system, online features, music presentation, overall presentation, as well as features in the practice mode, there's only one thing left to be said, and that's, what does all this cost? SNK's and Code Mystics re-release of Real Bout Fatal Fury 2 The Newcomers will cost $19.99 and available only on Steam. So if you ask me, given everything that's included, I'd say that's not a bad price to have this piece of history updated with some modern games' current features. Now all that's left to ask is a simple question, and that's, what are your thoughts? Are you planning on buying this new release of Real Bout 2? Have you ever played the game before, and if so, who is your favorite characters? Again, special thanks to SNK for this opportunity, always appreciate it. If you liked what you saw and would like to see more, then please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and don't forget to tap that bell icon. And while you're at it, let's try to get this video to 50 likes. Much love. Till next time, I'm DecepySwag. Later.